It's kind of wild, right? I mean, we're living in a time where AI is writing code,
Yes,
composing symphonies,
uh-huh.
even helping to diagnose illnesses.
Hmm.
It's incredible, but it also kind of makes you wonder, are we headed towards a future where AI benefits everyone?
Yeah.
Or are we, maybe just building a playground for the privileged few? And that's what brings us to today's deep dive, responsible AI.
Right.
And to help us unpack it, we're going to be taking a look at 2045, Echoes of Tomorrow, a novel by Naveen Balani.
Yeah, and you might be thinking, a novel to understand AI.
Right.
But the thing is, Balani doesn't just tell a compelling story.
Yeah.
He uses fiction to grapple with some really complex ethical dilemmas surrounding AI, dilemmas that frankly could be ripped from tomorrow's headlines.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
we're lucky enough to be working with excerpts from the book itself, like the preface,
Hmm.
the author's note.
Yeah.
We're even going to take a peek at some of the episode summaries.
It's a really rich text. And what I find so fascinating about Balani's approach is that he brings this unique perspective. He's not just some tech enthusiast, right? He's been immersed in the AI world for years.
Right.
He's seen firsthand how rapidly things are evolving.
Yeah.
And that's where Echoes of Tomorrow really stands out. It's not your typical robots taking over the world narrative.
No.
He's really willing to explore the potential pitfalls, the downsides of AI.
The dark side.
Even when those downsides might seem really appealing on the surface.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Mhm.
Balani drops us right into the year 2045 with our protagonist, Zymer Zucher. Now picture this. You wake up from a 20-year coma.
Oh, wow.
But it's not just your body that's playing catch-up. It's the whole world. Flying cars,
Right.
personalized AI assistants. It's like the future we always imagined in the movies is suddenly real. But actually living in it, that's a different story.
Well, and that's where Balani's talent as a storyteller really shines, because he puts us right there in Zymer's shoes. So we're experiencing this awe and this disorientation of this new world right alongside him. For example, there's this one scene where Zymer goes back to his old neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's not just that his favorite cafe is now fully automated, it's how Balani describes the almost eerie silence. Because everyone's interacting through these augmented reality devices, and it's like, on the one hand, it's efficient, but it's also incredibly isolating, and it really makes you think about the true cost of convenience.
You're right. It's those small details that really make it feel real.
Yeah.
Like unsettlingly possible.
Mm.
But, okay, back to Zymer. This guy wakes up, and 2 decades of his life have just vanished.
Right.
His family's moved on, the world's completely different, and he has absolutely no idea why.
And that's where the real intrigue begins, because woven into the story of personal rediscovery is a corporate conspiracy
Ooh.
that cuts right to the heart of ethical AI development. And we have to remember, Zymer was a leading AI researcher before his disappearance. So what he uncovers about his own work, the lengths that people went to control it, that's chilling stuff.
Okay, hold on. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Let's pump the brakes a little bit before we dive into the whole conspiracy thing.
Okay.
I want to take a step back and talk about the bigger picture that Balani paints of TUM 45.
Okay.
Because what's so interesting is how he depicts AI being everywhere.
Mm.
It's in every aspect of life.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not just talking about robots and self-driving cars.
Right.
This is about AI being seamlessly integrated into everything.
Yeah.
Healthcare, education, even the arts.
See, and that's where things get really, really interesting, because Balani doesn't shy away from the potential downsides of that. Take AI in the art world, for example. On the surface, it's amazing. You've got algorithms creating these mind-blowing paintings,
Beautiful, yeah.
composing symphonies that rival the greats.
Right.
But then Balani introduces this really subtle question. What happens to human creativity when AI can not just mimic, but potentially even surpass our artistic expression? Are we losing something essential, or is this just the natural evolution of art?
It really makes you think about what art even is.
Right.
If an AI can create something that's just as moving, just as beautiful as something created by a person, does it hold the same value? I don't know.
And it taps into this deeper question that Balani is wrestling with throughout the novel, this idea of human purpose in an AI-driven world. If machines can create art, if they can diagnose illnesses, even make these really complex decisions.
Right, like life or death decisions.
Exactly. What does that mean for us? What's our purpose? What gives us a sense of self-worth in that world. And it's something that Zymer's really grappling with personally as he's trying to uncover what happened to him.
Well, and speaking of, Zymer's disappearance,
Yeah.
we hinted at this conspiracy earlier.
Hmm.
Without giving too much away.
Sure.
His work with AI was not just groundbreaking, it was like ethically ambiguous, to say the least.
Yeah.
We're talking about technology that could potentially read, maybe even manipulate human thoughts.
It's interesting because this is where Bellani's real-world experience with AI adds this layer of believability, you know?
Right.
It's not just some dystopian fantasy. He really takes the time to unpack how seductive that kind of technology would be.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine being able to erase someone's traumatic memories or to implant knowledge directly into their minds.
Like in the Matrix, basically.
Well, but it's both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time.
It really is. It's like he's holding up a mirror to humanity and saying, okay, how far are you willing to go in the name of progress?
Yes.
And what are you willing to sacrifice to get there?
What price are you willing to pay? And what I think makes Zymer such a great character is he has to confront his own role in all of this.
Yeah.
He was so focused on the potential of his work, he didn't stop to think about the ethical implications.
The unintended consequence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really where I think Bellani is making a case for responsible AI.
Right.
It's not enough to just develop these powerful technologies. We need to think about the guardrails. We need ethical frameworks.
We need to be having these conversations right now.
Absolutely. We need to be having these conversations before it's too late.
Right.
We have to be aware of the potential consequences of our actions.
So what happens with Zymer? I mean, this is a big thing he uncovers.
So he takes it upon himself to make things right, to become an advocate for change.
Okay.
He understands that knowledge without conscience can be really dangerous.
Right.
But he doesn't seek revenge. He's not trying to expose the corporation or anything like that.
Right.
He takes a much more nuanced approach.
So he's trying to change things from the inside.
Exactly. He starts this think tank, and he brings together not just tech people, but also ethicists, philosophers,
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
artists, policymakers. He realizes that to navigate this new world, we need to be having these interdisciplinary conversations.
It can't just be about the code.
Right, exactly.
It has to be about the human element, too.
Absolutely.
That's fascinating.
It's like he's saying that to really have responsible AI development, we need to be asking not just how, but also why,
Yeah.
who, and maybe most importantly, what if?
And that really resonates even outside the book, because
absolutely.
we are kind of at a crossroads with AI right now.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity to learn from the mistakes that are being made in the book,
Right.
to maybe take a different path.
We don't have to repeat those same mistakes.
So how do we do that? What are some of the concrete things that Bellani highlights in the book that we can do?
Well, I think one of the most interesting things that Zymer does is he focuses on education.
Okay.
And he says, it's not enough to just teach people how to code.
Right.
We have to instill a sense of ethical responsibility from day one.
Like it has to be part of the curriculum?
Exactly. We have to bake ethics into the DNA of AI development.
I like that, yeah.
So Zymer's advocating for this new curriculum where you're learning about philosophy, you're learning about history, even art.
Wow.
Alongside the technical stuff.
It's so interesting because it's not just about, how do we stop AI from becoming the Terminator?
Right.
It's about how do we use AI to actually enhance our humanity.
Yes, and that's where Bellani's vision gets really exciting because he doesn't just focus on the doom and gloom, right? He offers this glimpse of a future where AI is helping us solve some of the world's most pressing problems, where it's helping us to be more creative, more compassionate, more connected to each other and the planet. It's a really hopeful vision.
Okay, but is it realistic? I mean, you're talking about a future where corporations are prioritizing ethics over profits.
Right.
Where technology is being used to lift people up rather than, exploit them.
Yeah.
Is that really possible?
It's a great question. And, Bellani doesn't pretend that it's going to be easy.
Right.
He acknowledges that there will always be those who seek to exploit any new technology for their own personal gain.
Of course.
But he reminds us that throughout history, progress has been driven by those who dare to imagine a better future, who refuse to accept the status quo.
The dreamers. So it sounds like he's saying that, yeah, they're going to be bad actors. But we can't let that stop us from trying to create a better future with AI.
We can't give up hope.
Yeah.
We have to believe that a different path is possible.
And that it's not just, up up to somebody else to figure this out.
Yeah.
It's on all of us.
That's it.
All of us.
And those choices, they're not just happening in some lab somewhere or in a boardroom.
Right.
They're happening right now in our everyday lives.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about it. Every time you click accept without reading those terms of service.
Oh, all the time. Guilty as charged.
Right. Or when we prioritize convenience over privacy.
Oh, yeah.
All those little decisions, they add up.
They do.
They're shaping the world, the digital world that AI will ultimately inherit.
Yeah. We're kind of laying the groundwork.
Exactly. We are laying the foundation brick by brick.
With every click.
With every click, every swipe, every data point that we just give away.
It's kind of scary when you think about it like that.
It is, and that's why I think Bellani's book is so important right now. It's a wake-up call. It's not just a story.
Yeah.
It's a call to be more mindful, more critical, to really think about the technology that's all around us.
So where does that leave us? You know, we've gone deep on this book, Echoes of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
What are some key takeaways that we can apply to our own lives, you know, starting right now?
Ask questions. I think that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
Don't just accept the narrative that AI is this thing that's just going to happen to us, you know, that we don't have any control over it.
That we're just along for the ride?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have a voice. We need to challenge the status quo. We need to be demanding transparency from these companies.
Absolutely.
And we have to really think about the consequences.
The potential consequences.
Of every new advancement.
Of every advancement.
Yeah.
Now remember, I mean, AI in and of itself isn't necessarily good or bad, right? It's a tool.
It's a tool, yeah.
Like any tool is how we use it.
It's all in how we use it. We have a responsibility to make sure that it's used ethically, with empathy.
To make the world a better place. So.
Exactly. To enhance our humanity, not to diminish it.
And that starts with us.
It starts with us. Our choices, our actions, every day.
Living with intention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The future is not predetermined.
I love that.
We have a say in it.
It's a collaboration. Well, on that note,
if you are interested in learning more about this, and I think you should be, definitely check out Naveen Bellani's book, 2045, Echoes of Tomorrow. It will make you think. It will challenge you. And until next time, keep asking those tough questions. And remember, the future is not set in stone. We are creating it